If you struggle with your self-worth, then I want to share something with you that by the end of this video will help you shift the way you see yourself completely. I remember a day a few years ago, I was having a conversation with God. I was in my kitchen standing by the island and I was contemplating a difficult situation that I was going through, where I felt regularly disrespected by one person in my life, but I also felt trapped in a way because I couldn't exactly leave the situation. And so I remember bringing it up with God and being like, God, I really feel like I am letting this person walk all over me every day and I cannot stand it anymore. I feel like I'm letting this person disrespect me and make me feel like I am less than, and so on. And the Holy Spirit immediately replied to me with something that blew my mind. He said, do you know how many people disrespect me or insult me on a daily basis? Does that make me less God? Does that make me less worthy? And when I heard this, it completely rewired the way I saw myself. Immediately, my understanding of my self-worth shifted from the external circumstances or what other people were saying about me or to me, the way they were behaving towards me, to actually understanding that I am worthy because of who I am, and so are you. Because we live in a society with other people, so many times we get carried away with the idea that our worth is defined by who we are on the outside. What we do, what we have, the people we know, the connections we have, how we let other people treat us, and so on. But the reality is that our worth is intrinsic to who we are. Now, I want to put a disclaimer here. I'm not suggesting that you stay in situations that are toxic or abusive. That was not my situation. It wasn't that serious. It was mostly a case of someone being rude and me feeling like I was being disrespected. But this is actually a reminder that whenever we find ourselves in certain situations where we have to deal with someone that isn't particularly nice to us or kind to us, or maybe they themselves are going through something that makes it that they behave in a certain way, it's for us to remind ourselves that actually our worth is not based on how the people around us treat us. And in fact, at the end of the conversation, what God told me was something that we probably all know, but we need to be reminded of sometimes. And that is that how someone treats us says more about them than it does about us. And that's because many times when you are treated poorly by someone else, it might not even be about you. It might just be about them. It might be about what they are going through. It might be that they're struggling with something. And at that point in life, they didn't master the ability to be kind to you or be nice to you. And so it's really important that we ground our self-worth in knowing who we are. And it's even better when you are able to ground who you are and your idea of self-worth on who you are in the eyes of God. Because when you are able to see yourself the way God sees you, then you find a peace and confidence that it would be very difficult to find otherwise. And so many times we think God sees us the way we see ourselves, but actually that's not the case. Many times we have a misguided impression of how God sees us, and really we should actually learn more about how He sees us and then redefine the way we see ourselves through the lens of how He sees us. That sounded a bit repetitive, but you get the point. And so if you've been struggling with your self-worth, which then often tends to affect our level of confidence, I really hope this short video has helped you to reframe the way you see yourself, remind yourself that your self-worth is entirely based on who you are, and especially to remind you to learn to see yourself the way God sees you, and remind yourself that it's not the way others treat you that define who you are or that define your worth. Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you or if you have any other advice with regards to self-worth. I'm always curious to find out. And thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.